more older mob farms in the game, and it is good because you don't need any redstone for this farm to actually work, and it's quite simple. I didn't even have to watch a tutorial to build this. But putting that aside, it was now time for another adventure. It was time to put the nether portal to use. However, before I would even do any of that, I needed to do some preparations, such as farming for food. But it was now time for me to go into the nether, and entering in, I was spawned into a warped forest biome, where I realized I could get ender pearls. And this is important because that means I could fight the ender dragon later on in this video. I ran around defeating some endermen for a while, gathering a couple of ender pearls, but then I was interrupted by running into the nether fortress. That's some pretty crazy luck. So on top of me getting a few ender pearls really quickly, I was now able to gather up some blaze rods as well, which is the other material I would need to get Eyes of Ender to find the stronghold. So yeah, I spent a little while collecting a total of 12 blaze rods, which then meant I could move on to doing other things. I wanted to go around the nether fortress to loot some chests, because maybe I could get some cool extra loot. However, that was a fail, that I couldn't find any chests. So instead, I just went back to collecting more ender pearls, because I would need a few of them at least, and I kept doing this until I had a total of 16 ender pearls, which meant I could leave the nether and return back home, so I could go and collect more building materials. And on top of that, to prepare myself for another build that I was going to add to this island, I started expanding out this deserted island with some more dirt. Yep, a bigger island. So what I was about to build was another building, obviously, but this building will be used as my enchanting room. Obviously, I was going to spend a few days building up this actual structure again, also using the exact same materials as all the other buildings. And then once I finished actually building up the structure, I could move on to designing the interior. Obviously, this wouldn't be anything too crazy because of the limited materials that I had, but the main decorations I would add in here would be an amethyst roof, as I thought that would look cool, and I also added some random chandelier made with lanterns. But it's a good thing that the interior is now complete, because that means I could go out and start looting shipwrecks for one specific item. Well, I guess technically two, books and paper, but there was also something else I realized. See those mountains there? Yeah, they're not supposed to be there. This is supposed to be an ocean-only world. However, since I upgraded my game version to 1.21, the world's kind of corrupted. So we now have land, I guess, but I won't be touching anything on those islands because that kind of defeats the whole deserted island idea. But putting that aside, I looted a bunch of shipwreck chests as well as ruined portal chests. And eventually, I returned back home so I could do some pretty crazy things. I was now going to be taking terraforming to a whole new level. I guess I did just say I wouldn't touch those mountains that were randomly generated, but gathering dirt from those would be so much easier. Anyways, now I wanted to expand out the island further, but in a different way that I have not done yet. I was going to start by using loads of stone to build up stone walls as a way to elevate this land a little bit. This was going to take a couple days to complete, but once it would inevitably be completed, it would make this island look a whole lot cooler. See what I mean? The terraforming isn't complete just yet though. I was going to go back to the Dark Oak Island and start removing that mob grinder that I just built up the other day. It wasn't efficient enough to be used, and it looked pretty ugly, so I just decided to get rid of it. I then flattened the island out and started terraforming that part as well, using the stone again to build it up. Obviously, this took a couple days as well to complete. I just added the dirt on top, and then boom, we had another terraformed bit of land. And after building a cool cave entrance to my mine staircase, I realized there was no